Hello everyone, in this video I'd like to discuss how can we use the Beckhoff PLC and this TF6250 to implement the Modbus TCP slave role, the server side. And basically the server side will wait for the client side come to fetch the data or write the data. This is the passive side. And to test this server function, I will use the ModScan, this trial software. And I will use the ModScan as the client side, the master side, to connect to this server side. And the Modbus TCP protocol is a very common communication method to exchange the data, especially some industrial instruments or sensors or third-end PLC. They basically supply the Modbus TCP function. And if the opposite side is going to run as the role as a client side, then this Beckhoff PLC side can run the role as the Modbus TCP server side. And the beauty of the Beckhoff Modbus TCP server side, typically to implement this Modbus TCP server side, you do not have to program any Modbus TCP connection program. Once you install this software TF6250, and once you implement the license or trial license, once you download and run your PLC, the Beckhoff PLC side, this Beckhoff PLC side will run the Modbus TCP server role. And in this video, I will show how can we implement this. And before that, again, let's quickly review all these correlated menus, documents, and information. The very important page, we can go to beckhoff.com and search TF6250. And this is a TwinCAT 3 Modbus TCP. And here you need to keep in mind one thing. When we are talking about Modbus TCP, it always has a client and a server role, two roles behind. And for the Modbus TCP client role, we discussed from the previous video. To quickly recall this, if you browse my channel, Electrical Automation Hands-On, you search the COM35 Modbus TCP client via Beckhoff TF6250, and you open this video. In this video, I discussed how can we implement the Modbus TCP client function via the TwinCAT 3 PLC. Okay, and in this video, to implement this function, we need to program the Modbus TCP client read and write register function. And I was using this WinTag, this trial license software, and the Modbus slave function, the software run as the server side, and the TwinCAT PLC side will run as the client. So running as a client, we need to program something here. But in this video, we will discuss the Modbus TCP server function. We do not have to program the PLC code. We just need to declare some variables. A detailed information, you can go to the documentations and download. And you can download the technical documentations. Okay, this English or German, you can download. Okay, and for the software, you must install the TF6250. It's a very small software. But if you forget, you cannot do this function. So you need to make sure download this software and run as administrator installed into your target PLC. That target PLC run as a role as a PLC, TwinCAT 3 PLC. And other than this technical documentations, this PDF, you can also go to the website. So let's click this link. It will jump to the TF6250. So Beckhoff, they have this information system. It includes all the information for each features. And for here, you need to keep in mind, again, for Modbus TCP, it has two roles, client and a server role. And if you go here, when it's talking about this configuration, this area is talking about the Modbus TCP server roles. And when you see some program area, the function blocks, sample program like this, so it is talking about the client function. This is my previous video discussed. Okay, again, in this video, we will talk about the server functions. So we only need to focus on these three areas: overview, TwinCAT Modbus TCP configurator, and the default configuration. The most important thing is here. So let's quickly review. So here is an overview. Well, we are talking about the input registers and output registers. So keep in mind this is read only and read and write. Basically, when we are talking about the input register, this is the data client side and the master side can read the data from this server side. Okay, and when it is doing the output register area, this area it is a bidirection, so you can read and write from the client side, and your server side can also read and write this area. Okay, and the default when we are doing this Modbus TCP server function, you only need to declare those variables. You can even copy and paste and declare those variables under the GVL global variable list. I will show this. Okay, make sure all those names you exactly follow the name. And the reason why we have to declare those variables exactly follow this way, that's actually because if you go to this second TwinCAT Modbus TCP configurator, there's one configurator under this directory if you are using the Windows system. Okay, and this software behind it has configuration data, and in that configuration data inside, I can quickly show for you. So this file is the configuration file I exported. Okay, and if we go open this, this is the XML file. This is the internal Modbus address, and this is the correlated variable, and all those correlated variables are defined inside this configuration file. By default, this is the system predefined those variable name. All those names are predefined, so don't change the name and even the capital and the small case. Okay, and this is the configurator for the Modbus TCP server role. Keep in mind server role, and the default port is a 502. This is also an important port. And then let's go to the default configuration. This is exactly shows the relationship that within the configuration file, this configuration file I just showed. So the input register area that come from the 8000, this Modbus address, and it is correlated with this MB input register. Again, this is the read-only area. Client can read the data from this server. And if you need to exchange the register, each register is a one word, so you can use this area output register. Okay, so basically the function code behind is a 03. This is read from the client side. If you're the client side write, this is the function code 16. This is the I summarized here. So I would say if we are doing the PLC to PLC communication where the Modbus TCP function, typically you will use the register area. Each register is a one word. And if you are doing the real communication, the float, you can split your float into a 2 word and a send, because each real float includes 4 bytes, right? You need 2 words to send or exchange the float value. So the input register, this is read only. So from the client side, you will use the function code, Modbus function code 04 to read the data. This direction. This is the client side. This is the server side. This is the TwinCAT server side. This is the TwinCAT Modbus TCP server side. You read the data. Data flow is this. And if you need to exchange the data, so you will use the MB output register. And from the client side, you would use the 03. You will use the 03 to read the data from the server side to the client side, or write the data using the function code 16 by using this holding register area right to here. So keep in mind, this word is not quite good. Usually for the Modbus, for this 03 or 16, doing the 40,000 this Modbus address area is usually called a holding register area. So here it is named the output register. Is a little bit confused. Take care. So basically this area output register is used for exchange the data. Okay. Another thing is very important idea behind the Modbus address is here. It starts from the 8000. This is the hex value. For the decimal value, it is a 32768. However, while we are doing the Modbus communication, so actually the address behind, you have to plus 1. It's real start address. It just actually come from the hex 8001. Same as here, it just come from the 8001. Convert to the decimal, this is a 32769. So I will show a case if accidentally you start from the 32768, The 8000, you're unable to communicate correctly. So keep in mind, we have to add 1 at here. This is the relationship between the client and the server and the function code for 04, 03, and 16. Okay, so let's set up the TwinCAT 3 project. Let's start. This is my target TwinCAT PLC, this Windows system. And in this Windows system, I installed this TF6250. Don't forget to run as administrator. And this PC IP address is 192.168.1.199. Okay. And after you install this, then if you go to it's a C drive, your target PLC, and then you can go to the TwinCAT and functions and TF6250 Modbus TCP. Here, depends on which kind of system you have, how to install this while we are using the Windows CE or ARM platform. You can go to the menus. Basically, you have to install this CAB file. But for the Windows system, it's very easy. Let's go to this Windows 32. Okay, this folder and the server role, and you will see this Modbus configurator. And if you open this run as administrator, you will see this is software showing in the documents. So this software behind, it has the default configuration, set default configurator. After you install this software, I would recommend you click 2 or 3 times. So this is set default, okay, set default. So to make sure the system initialized that the matrix, to make sure all those Modbus address aligned with those variable list, just in case, okay. And after this, we can set up a TwinCAT project, and I will set up a project and copy the variables into this PLC project. All right, I will go to new and create a new project. I will create my project under this folder, TwinCAT Modbus TCP server. Select the folder, TwinCAT Modbus TCP server. Okay. All right. At here, I will create a PLC project. Modbus TCP server. Okay. After we create this PLC project, let's go to the GVL. We need to declare the variable, global variable list. The default is a GVL. Don't change this name. Okay, GVL. And then we can copy. Let's go to this Beckhoff information system here and go to the overview, and let's copy those variables. And we can paste here. And this is the comments I wrote by myself. So again, for the input register area, it is only used for the client side read only. This is the holding register area, so we can read and write by using this function code 03 and 16 from the client side. Okay, so we declare the variables, that's good enough. We do not have to program any Modbus TCP program, the code. Okay, so default, this is working behind. And then we just need to set up the basic things. Firstly, let's go to the license. We will use the trial license for this test. Default, it has TF1200 TwinCAT 3 PLC license. Then we go to the manage license. Let's go to the TF6250, this Modbus TCP. So we will use this license. And come back here and let's click this 7 days trial license if here is showing the expire. So let's click this. This is the 7 days trial license. So this is very friendly for the initial test. Okay, let's activate this license. And after this, let's go to the PLC task. So default is I'm using the 10 milliseconds as the cyclic tick. Okay, and then let's go to the real time. And here I will firstly read from my target CPU. And I will use one isolated core for this test. Set on the target, and you can select the share core or isolated core. And so usually we will assign one isolated core for your TwinCAT PLC. And after you click set, keep in mind, before you click set, you better save your project. So because once you click the set the target, the system will force you to reboot. So it will lost some your project or settings. So we set this one isolated core for this TwinCAT PLC, and we declare this. Now I'm going to download, and we have this license active already. So let's download. Let's active this configurator. Okay, click to the run mode. Let's watch here. Okay, no errors now. It is running, and now let's click this login. And this input area, this is read only, so I can prepare some data here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You can write. So I will prepare this decimal variables here. And let's go to the license here, just to make sure license is running, online license. Okay, it is running here. Okay, now I didn't program anything, just to declare those variables. And now I will go to my B laptop. The laptop will run Modbus TCP client software. Okay, so I will temporarily leave this on the left side in this screen. Okay, again, for this model scan, this Modbus master software, so you can go to the wintech.com and download this trial license. So I'm using is this, the Modbus master side. Okay, the master side, the model scan. All right, so even you see this in one screen, but actually the left side, this is my TwinCAT PLC, and this is the Modbus TCP server role. And the right side here, this is my B laptop, another laptop, and this laptop will run the master role. So I will unzip this master, this software, and let's go in, and I will open it. And because this is a trial license software, so I do not need to input anything. And just wait for a couple of seconds. So this OK will highlight. Wait for a couple of seconds. All right. And before we set up the connection, let's set this address. Again, if you recall this page, our start address supposed to be the 32769. And let's set 32769. And I will prepare, let's prepare 100 lengths. And let's switch to this area input register. We'll use a 04 input register, right? Input register. And then let's go to the connection. Let's select the remote Modbus TCP server. And IP address is a target IP address. This is the target. This is the server side, Modbus server side IP address 199. It belongs to this, the TwinCAT PLC side. And port is 502. Okay. And for edits, I will also copy this name. It's easy to show at the corner here. Make sure your Windows firewall, this 502, this port is opened. So, or the easy way, you can disable the firewall temporarily for the testing, and click OK. And click OK. All right, so now it is not showing anything. That means no any errors. And here is showing the data. And here is showing the hex data. So I can go to the wheel. I can go to the setup, display, and change to the integer style. You will see the 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just communicating here. So if you accidentally set the value to the 8000 hex, let's see what will happen. So it will show the Modbus exception response from the slave device. This is a very common error at the early beginning. So keep in mind, we will start from the 8001. 8001, okay? So it is a 32769. And this is reading area. So if we go to this number 10 area, we can set a new variables at here, 5599. Okay, this is the decimal. That's right. Then from the software side, then we will see the 5599, a read to here. And here, if you double click, try to write the data, it cannot do that because the 04 function code is only for reading the data from the server side to the client side, the master side. Okay, then the output, the holding register area. Again, this holding register area, this is for the function code 03 read and 16 write. Write means from the client side to write into here. So let's prepare some data first prepare the data 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The first data 1, 1, 2, 2. Okay, 3 data here, right? Prepared, and then let's go to the client software, and here we will switch to the 03. Okay, 03. Again, the start address, same thing. Start address will 32769. No any error here, and so we will see this decimal data I just showing here 1122 is starting from here. The first one is a 69, and because this is the holding register area, so this digit here is a 400,000. This address, this is the typical Modbus address for the holding register area. Okay, this is the reading. So now if we try to write the data by using this software, is very simple. Say for example from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the number 10. Here I will write 5599. Okay, we will see it start from the 0, so the number 10s, it is this. Okay, the number 10s, it is this. Okay, 5599. So it's writing the data. If I do this again, say next one, let's write 5678. Okay, we'll see the data can send the data from the client side to the server side. Okay, so for reading and writing, typically for Modbus communication, we will define an area. Say for example, the top 20 registers we'll use for writing the data from the client to the server side, and the another 20 or 30 or 50 for reading the data from the server side to the client area. So again, this holding register, this is the bidirection. You have to define by yourself. But for the input register area, only use for read the data from the server side to the client. Okay. For the input coil and output coil, actually the same thing. So this is a digit communication. So if, for example, if I prepare this two bool turn on, okay, I active that, and if I select the coil, the input coil status, and my start address, same thing, start from the 69, so we will see 101. 101 is there, and the output coil is the same idea. Okay, so again, this is the Modbus TCP server function. And as we can see, we do not need to program any PLC code. We just need to declare this variable. And you always need to keep in mind that, so from this tool behind is actually using a configuration file. The configuration file, it comes from this set default configuration. So you can click 2 or 3 times at the early beginning, so to make sure this function is active. So it aligns these variables with your Modbus TCP address. If in case you don't like this address, say this address, you don't like that. So basically that means you like to change this Modbus address, this mapping with those variables. Even sometimes you like to rename this. How can we do that? So we can do that. So again, you open this software, right? And then you click this export. You click this export configuration. And after you export this configuration, you go to, then you can open, this is the file I exported, and then you can open it. Then you can edit this mapping Modbus address, the end address, and those variable list. You can change them. And after you edit this file, make sure you save that properly, and then you open this software, and then you do the import configuration. Alright, this is the topic for the Modbus TCP server function, where this Beckhoff TF6250. So this is the common case if you are doing the PLC to PLC communication. So this TwinCAT using this way can run as a server, the slave side, the passive side, and the active side came from another controller or any other system or even the computer system. So you can run the Modbus TCP client, the master active side for this communication. And the beauty of this way, again, it do not need to program any PLC code behind. You just need to declare those variables and do that. All right, This is the topic for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumb up. If you like to watch more videos in my channel, please subscribe and hit the bell. Thank you for watching.